started with lyrics. Those lyrics are from Rachel Day. And she was like, hey, I got these lyrics, you should use them. She and I never talked about what the song meant. She was just, here, I don't know what to do with these. And so I'm reading it, and it's about suicide. Yeah, it's just a fun idea, do whatever you want with it. I don't know. it wasn't a thing, so I felt better about using this. But the idea that it is about suicide, having a man give up and walk into the ocean, knowing that it's over, to sleep with Davy Jones. Man, that was dark. And I wrote this riff at a rehearsal.
That first riff is just incredible. That thing is just, it's such a great riff. And I remember when he first wrote that riff, I just remember thinking, there's something we can do with that. I mean, that's definitely a riff that you revolve a song around. The interesting is that one was like 80% Greg. He wrote the song and just brought it to the table. And by and large, it's still how he wrote it. Along the way, there was some arrangement stuff, but minor things. I mean, he really wrote a song that flowed really well.
And I said, hey Neil, check this out. What do you think? And he's like, it's good. Let me work on it.
Eventually I altered some vocal stuff, particularly just in the bridge, just because it was things to fit my voice better, but...
Moved the lyrics all over the place. I wasn't sure where I was going with it, and he ended up adding some background vocals. He added some, he messed with the melodies a bit, and it turned into this thing that is now Davy Jones.
When we picked up Michelle, we decided, this kind of thing would be good to have that kind of female voice, kind of similar to what we did with When We Were Gods, but more of a kind of an accessory kind of voice, a harmony kind of thing.
What did I do for that song? I just did some background vocals. I don't know. I have no idea, because the first time I heard it, I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even deal with it at all. I couldn't even get through the intro. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. This is just, there's so much going on musically. But then, after you get a little bit more familiar with it and start to break it down into like pieces, then it started to be like, oh, okay, cool.
I'm gonna get a little extra attention, a little extra love, a little extra money. You're alright.
The studio is a pretty organized process, and Neil always has everything kind of ready to go. He gets there early, and he's got everything prepared, so I can be a complete flake and fuck off and just show up, and he'll just tell me, okay, Michelle, this is what you need to do. I'll give you the notes. So that's pretty easy.
So as we were tracking that, there was definitely a sound that they had in their head, and then during the mix process, it just, when I mixed those. There were 4 particular songs that had that dynamic, and we mixed those first, and so we settled in on the sound with, especially with Davy was one of the songs that we did. Also with Davy Jones, we did the intro well before we even did, I think, pre-production on it.
So the intro for Davy Jones was never an intro, it was part of the song. What do you call him? Almost a tone piece, where Bill, by telling him that the Davy Jones isn't a pirate, the Davy Jones is a lost soul, that being lost at sea isn't just about your survival, but about your sanity. The intro and the interlude are very much connected in that way.
One of the things that we have at our disposal with modern recording is not just, microphones and preamps, which is, the meat and potatoes of how we record this kind of music, but also a lot of sampled sounds. For instance, the waterphone, which was a specific kind of instrument, and then adding audio. Right, we have some waves and the sound of a boat. I have some samples of some different breaths, and so we did something that was very similar to what I do as a theater and movie sound designer. Roma came in to do some leads, and his specialty, he's a real technician at the highest grade. He's just very, very fast, has a very definite style. And so one of the things that Roma will do, and he's also driven by a level of perfectionism. So again, with trying to keep this idea of not using tricks in quantizing or lining up the waveforms to make things tight, but to get it right in the performance. So there would be a point where he had something in his head, which was very particular, and for me, it's just, you know, he's such a great musician and so fast that, you know, in the tracking process, I'm trying to keep track of, you know, all of these writing notes. Okay, you like this one, you like this section of that one, but you know, ignore that one. Shit, I want to do it again. And I knew, having worked with Neil Aroma in pre-production, I was like, Neil, you need to sit next to me, and we need to keep track of, you know, is this 38 or 42? And you know, as I was mixing, I was just so glad that we took the time to do that. You know, we made sure that our process was such that we got the best takes possible.
It's about being lost and coming into one's own understanding of what's happening and why at that end. It was interesting to see how that fit into the overarching theme of the album and helped shape everything. Pretty heavy tune, I'll say that.